Hello to all my woo homies out there. Sid here, the tarot guy next door, in my kitchen. The new moon in Virgo will be exact at around 4:30 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. So by the time you see this, it should likely be in a couple hours, assuming you see this right after publication. So I figured this was a good time to check in and see where we stand in the marketplace of ideas, for lack of a better term. So if you care about building a better, freer world, you are one of my woo homies. I'm trying to drop hints as for people to self-identify. So I'm going to do an open cross with my Marseille. The intention as far as time frame that I'm experimenting with these is 1 or 2 weeks or so. That's basically the time frame that will generally be the case, and the new moon is a great time to check in. And as always, we have 3 oracle cards here that you can choose: the Egyptian Gods Oracle, the Moonology Manifestations Oracle, and the Archetype cards. So you can choose whichever one or ones resonate with you the most. And as I usually do with my Marseille deck, I'm just going to cut the deck, throw down 5 cards, then pause the recording while I stare at it in silence, and we'll see what the message is, and then we'll move over to the oracle cards. So we have the Page of Wands, the Trump number 13, commonly known as the Death card, and the Tower at the bottom of the deck. I really should work on the spacing. You know what? Let's do it live. So there's a bunch of room here. If I move this over like that, because I like having the deck, the deck on this side, but I also want room for the oracle cards. So this should be sufficient. All of it is in frame. Awesome. Cool. I'll see you right now. I think the name of the game is Inner Work, which I'm getting from Trump 13 at the bottom of the cross here and the Page of Wands at the top. And also the fact that we have the 3 cards, the 3 pips in this reading are all odd, and we have 2 5s. So there's a strong notion of change and inherent disruption and instability that is inherent in the odd numbered pips in general. So I think that the focus, the name of the game for us is really to take this time to do an audit of our thought patterns, behaviors, ways of communicating with others, all that shit. On a more base level, there could also be, some of us could be invited to re-examine how we spend our money. That might be what this 5 of coins is saying, although I'm not reading too hard into that aspect. I'm just mentioning it for some of you. This is a collective reading after all. But really, at the heart of it is to change the way we behave, change the way we act, and to capitalize on the new path that is opening up to us, represented by the page here. Because we have an opportunity to create, to advance on this new path, which I'm getting from the combination of the page and the 7 here. So the fact that Trump 13 here is at the bottom, and by the way, I was going to pick this card up anyway. The reason I call it Trump 13 is because it doesn't have a label in the Marseille deck. It was a couple centuries later that the Golden Dawn named this card the Death card, but that hasn't happened yet as of this deck, which is why I call it that way. But coming back to what I was actually going to say, this card has a strong theme of recycling what has been discarded and using that to create the next thing, which is, and the theme of this card combined with its position in the cross is what is making me read this as inner work and inner examination, inner auditing of everything. So that is likely the name of the game for us watching this if this resonates, and it is reinforced by the tower at the bottom of the deck. So yeah, honestly, I think that as far as the tarot portion of this reading, we're basically done. So I'm going to move over to the oracle cards. So for those of you who picked the Egyptian Gods Tarot, we have Khnum with a message of resourcefulness. So for you, if you pick this card, this might be, I'm reminded, well, at the base level again, I'm reminded of the Five of Coins, which I alluded to earlier. This could be an opportunity while doing this audit to figure out ways to do more with less, and to really make sure that, you know, zero waste, nothing is left behind. And I'm reading it materially. As far as on the other ways of interpreting this card, it could be just a reminder that you have the ability to navigate this new path and to advance towards the world that we're trying to create together. Yeah, I don't have much more for this card, so I'll move over to this card, which is New Moon in Sagittarius. Focus on the positive, cup half full. No one wants to hang out with a mopey dopey. So try to see the good side of things. You're being invited to really, well, as it says literally on the card, focus on the positive. So while you're doing this inner audit, maybe there's some pessimism and some cynicism. Oh my God, I heard myself say that word, and I know who this audience is for. If you pick this card, you better start re-examining how cynical you are. Damn, saying that word out loud was like a lightning rod through my body. So yeah, stop being so cynical. I'm going to leave it at that. For the archetype, we have the magical child. It's child : magical. I'm going to read the light attribute, which is seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Awesome. The shadow attribute, pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. So basically you have to put the work in, but to remain, to keep in mind that things are possible and that the world that we want to create is doable, even though we're going to have to do the work, and to not fall into pessimism. I suspect that many of you who have picked this card also picked this card. All right. Hashtag I said what I said. So honestly, that is it for y'all. I am really happy with this series. I'm going to continue to do this, as I said, for the next couple months. I'm really enjoying the more frequent, more shallow examinations of, you know, the world that we're trying to navigate as we move towards the world that we're trying to build together. So with that note, if this reading resonated with you, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and left comments below and all that wonderful stuff. And on that note, thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.